If you have migraines, please know I feel your pain when it comes to life and when it comes to crafting. It can be such a struggle to focus, and I have been there, and I am there right now. Hi friends, welcome to another episode of the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast. My name is Hannah. This is a podcast all about crochet, a little bit of knitting, sometimes sewing, and generally living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live with my two kids, one of whom is sleeping, one of whom is in school, and a husband who just slammed a door. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the mess that is my life. You see this beautiful nonsense back here? It's actually a disaster, but the background is blurred, so you can't see it. Over there, disaster. This whole house, disaster. My life, disaster. If you watch the Great British Baking Show, there is, what's it called in the UK? Bake Off? There was one season where there was a particular lady, and anytime something would go wrong, she would go, disaster! And now I say that all the time, for years now. So anyways, I'm glad you're here. If you're looking for me on the interweb, you found me. Congratulations. This is where I hang out. But I also do hang out on Instagram as the Cozy Cottage Crochet. And if you need anything, please email me. That is the best way to ensure I get your message, thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. Y'all, I have so many projects. I have so much to share with you and a limited amount of time to do so. As I mentioned before, my house is a disaster. The baby is sleeping. He has a cold. So who knows for how long he has been Motrined and put to bed. But I don't know. Yesterday's nap was really short, so we may be on a clock. And I need to make pralines for tonight. It's just been a wild day. We have already, both kids cried their eyes out this morning for various reasons before we even got to school. So it was that kind of morning. But it was my birthday. So Starbucks gave me a free giant latte for free. So I drank all of that, and that made me feel happier. And then I had an allergy appointment. Then I had to get gas. Noah was not happy about any of this, mind you. He's finally sleeping. I got to record this podcast. It's the only time this week I can get it in. I need to make pralines. And tonight I have a wedding to officiate, and then I have small group. Let's talk about yarn. On top of that, I have a migraine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, I'm just going to grab from the pile because this is more projects than I've had probably since months. It's been months because of elbow surgery. Oh, look at this whole arm without a robot arm, without a brace, nothing. It's actually feeling pretty good. I've been crocheting, I've been knitting. It gets sore pretty quickly, so I've been trying not to push it. But overall, I feel like it's doing pretty well. I've still got physical therapy. I have another appointment this week. So I think things are moving in the right direction. First project, it is living in this bag that says, today's goal, keep the tiny humans alive. That is very much my goal today because they're being a little bit extra. This project has not had a lot of love recently, but I really want to finish it. And I'm getting close. Not close to finishing it. I still have both entire sleeves to do. But I am getting really close to finishing the body of this cardigan. It is the Artist Cardigan, which is a free pattern by Nordana Crafts, which is, I guess, some kind of craft company. I don't know. I found this online. The picture is super dark, but this is what it looks like. It looks like a knit cardigan, but it's actually crochet. The entire thing is made using yarn over slip stitches. And I am making the size medium, which is size number 3, I think. And the yarn that I am using is a yarn that you can't get anymore because the company doesn't exist anymore. It's from Knit Crate. It's called Audine Wool's Twinkle DK. It is 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% stellina in the colorway Knit Yorker. And this is very much a gifted project because the pattern was free. The yarn came from my lovely friend Amanda, and the bag came from my lovely friend Emmy. So it makes me smile every time I work on this project because it just makes me so happy. And this color, I rave about this color every time because look at it. It's like a very pale lavender. It's almost gray from far away, but if you look closely, you can see that it has sparkle in it. I have 6, did I have 6 or 5 of these skeins? I don't remember. I was a little concerned about the yardage. The pattern calls for a worsted weight yarn. I am using a DK weight yarn. I typically crochet very tightly, and so one of my hacks, tricks, in order to make that happen more correctly is to just go down a yarn size. And also I live in Florida, it's 1,000,000,000 degrees. So a DK is much better than worsted for me. So this, we have almost an entire sweater. When the last time I showed this, which has been a while, I was here. So I have done this much. That's a fair amount. I actually only have like 3 or 4 more rows on the front, and that's it. And then what you do is you go to the left shoulder and you somehow, I don't know how because I haven't read that far in the pattern, start joining the shoulders together and working the sleeve at the same time, because the sleeve is going to have the same texture. I believe I'm going to be working the sleeve back and forth in rows and then seaming it up underneath, but I don't actually know because I haven't read that far. What I will say is that I have had 0 complaints about this pattern. I love everything about this pattern so far. It is so clear, it is so well written. I did just now come across the first typo, and it's not even a typo that affects me that much. It's just that the last row of the right front of this cardigan is repeated twice. And it says it's like row 80, and then right beneath it, it's row 80, and it's the exact same thing. But if you're paying attention, which I was, it wasn't a problem at all. So this is the texture. It looks knit. It really looks knit, but this entire thing is made with yarn over slip stitches. And the fabric it creates, oh my gosh, it is so squishy. The bottom hem is the only thing done in regular slip stitches, and it just kind of cinches it in a little bit. The reason I was concerned that I wasn't going to have enough yarn is because I worked out all the calculations for the yardage, and I knew that I would need to add a little bit of length to this because I have a long torso. I have short arms though, so I never need to add length to sleeves. In fact, a lot of times I have to take length away from the sleeves. So I'm not going to mess with these sleeves at all. I'm just going to do them per the pattern. But the body, I need to be longer. Otherwise, it's going to be like a crop sweater on me, and I don't want a crop sweater. That's not my vibe, like at all. So yeah, this has slowly been worked on for the last probably 6 months at this point, but we are finally making some legitimate progress on this, and I think I'm on, I really wish I knew what many balls I had of this. I need to go back and watch my own podcast, don't I? So yeah, I'm just delighted. I am delighted with this pattern. I'm delighted with the yarn, and I can't wait to have it as a finished object. And it's just so clear, it's so well written, and it's linked on my Ravelry page. My Ravelry page is linked below, so if you need this pattern, just go check that out. Like I said, it's a free pattern, and I have no complaints about it. And y'all know I can be pretty nitpicky with patterns. So that's project number 1. I should say I am what I am wearing. This is my Wonder Woman shawl. I just thought it matched my pink shirt. This is also a free pattern. I made the large size of the Wonder Woman shawl. The only modification is it's missing a couple rows from the top band because I ran out of yarn. But this is a fingering weight yarn, and this is a sport weight yarn, which is why I ran out, because I started it not realizing this was a sport weight yarn. That is not the only time I have done that. I tend to have a problem, I guess, recognizing when a fingering weight yarn is not in fact a fingering weight yarn. But yeah, it's a really lovely pattern, and it's very spring vibes, even though it's basically summer in Florida. Spring vibes for the rest of the world. It is full on almost 90 degrees outside today. Yo, May, if you want to ask me for random opinions about things that don't matter, May is one of the worst months in Florida. People will tell you that like July, August, September, those are the worst months. And to be fair, August and September are pretty bad. However, May, for me, it goes August, September, May. Because it never rains in May. Never. Like, I don't think last year in May we got a drop of rain. Not just blue skies, sun baking you into the ground. And at least in June is the start of our rainy season. June is when, at least there's rain. So it's technically like a little bit hotter than in June and there's more humidity, but the actual shade that you get from rain, from clouds, and the cool off of the water helps, in my opinion. But I'm the one talking, so it helps more than it does in May. May is just an unbearable month. And I have been pregnant. I have been pregnant in August and September because Noah was born in September. Oof. Okay, moving on. Let's do socks because those are coming up next. The first sock I'm going to show you is almost finished. I hope to be able to finish it by this weekend. I hope it's finished by the time you're seeing this podcast, actually. Because next week I am actually going to be traveling to a conference for a work conference. It's only a 2-day conference. I'm flying to Nashville the night before, which is Monday night. The conference is Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm flying back home Thursday morning very early. This is the only time I've left both kids for more than 24 hours. Yeah. My husband had some vacation time, so we were able to make this work because I have not been to a conference or any kind of professional anything in years. It has been years. And I feel very like I need some kind of professional development. I'm out here in the wasteland, y'all. So it's just really delightful that I'm going to be able to go attend this. But I have grand plans to take a sock with me, a brand new fresh sock. So that means I need to finish this pair of socks. And I'm so close. I literally have one more stripe and a toe. This is the first one that was finished. And it's all crooked on my sock blocker. Here we go. This is Knit Picks Felici. This yarn came out of my stash. Felici is hard yarn to get a hold of unless you buy it when they release it. And the last time they released it semi-recently, but before that it had been gone for a long time. A long time. This is old Felici. It's a colorway Hot Shot. I've had this for at least several years. I only had one 50-gram ball, which I know with contrast toes, heels, and cuffs is enough to get me a pair of shorty socks. And for the contrast, I am using just a random blue mini skein. It's 75-25. I believe this is Cloudborne fibers, just for my stash. And this is the first one. So I'm going to run through my sock recipe really fast. This is what I currently do. This has changed up many times over the years. I started with toe-up socks, and then I started making tall socks, and then there's just all kinds of difference. I used to make really short socks, like they would have, like the ribbing would start like right here. For some reason, I don't like those anymore. Why? No idea. So what I did is I cast on 64 stitches. I did 15 rounds of 2x2 rib on my 2.25 millimeter Chalgu red lace 9-inch circular needles. I'm not going to say all that again because it's a tongue twister every time, but essentially I like to use 9-inch circulars and I use them for the entire sock except for the toe. I knit 20 rounds. It might be slightly more than that. I'm not sure because I split this light blue stripe in half. I did generally do a fish lips kiss heel, but this time I did a shadow wrap heel and I am 100% sure I did it wrong. I think I added 2 extra rows at the end of the heel because it's a little like poofy at the bottom. And when I was doing it, I was like, am I remembering this correctly? Because again, my sock recipe has changed a lot. And I used to only make the shadow wrap heel. And then I got tired of that. And now I'm making the fish lips kiss heel again. And I'm sure I'll get tired of that at some point and try a different kind of heel. But I was like, do I do a triple stitch in the first one or do that one and then the second one? I couldn't remember. So I am pretty sure I did it incorrectly because the heel is a little poofy, but who cares? I don't care. It's a sock. Then I just knit to the length of my foot, and I do a rounded toe from Mina's vanilla sock recipe, Mina of the Knitting Expat. And the reason I know how long to make these socks is my favorite knitting notion of all time. I will link this below. This is the twice sheared sheep sock ruler. If you knit socks in the US, highly recommend because it's not going to steer you wrong. It has never steered me wrong. Every pair of socks I've made with this has come out perfect. You basically stick it in your shoe and it will tell you every single kid size for a sock, women's size, and men's size. And this one is a very old one, so it doesn't have a ruler on the back, but all of them sock rulers now have an actual ruler on the back so you can measure as well. And it's essentially a slap bracelet. I love it. I use it I have one in each sock bag, and I use it every single time I make a sock. Probably 20 times, because you know I want to measure and measure and measure and measure. Am I there yet? Am I there yet? Am I there yet? I get mad at my kids for saying stuff like that in the car. Like literally, we were driving somewhere the other day. We were on the interstate, okay? And Nova was like, are we there yet? And I wanted to be like, yeah, get out. Obviously, we're not there yet, kid. I didn't say that. This is how much yarn I have left. I don't know how much that is. But I only need to make one more stripe out of this, because this sock is almost done. It is almost done, and it is exactly the same. Yes, I just started the last stripe. So there we go. Focus. Perfect. This is where I was last time. So I have done 1, 2, 3, 4.5 stripes since the last time you saw this. And by the next time you see this, it will be a finished sock. The reason I need it to be a finished sock is because this is the sock bag I want to take with me on the airplane. And I want to put in there the Premier Yarn sock kit yarn. So I actually haven't even opened this yet. I'm going to open it right now for you on camera. This Premier Yarns just released not that long ago, and it's essentially, you get, what do you get? Their sock yarn, you get a 25-gram mini. Sorry, my brain just completely left the building. I have a migraine, and this is happening. It's been happening to me all day. It's been kind of a rough, oof. I'll talk about that in a second. You get 2 50-gram balls of the main sock yarn and 1 25-gram mini ball for your contrast toes, heels, and cuffs if you want to. You also get double pointed needles, stitch markers, and a crochet hook, as well as a QR code for a knit and or crochet sock pattern. So we're breaking the seal. I ordered this planning to make these socks, and I just wanted to finish that pair first. I haven't even looked at this yarn, so we're gonna look at it together and decide what we think. Already, I love it. It smells sheepy. It's super soft. I should say, I wanted to buy this yarn without buying the sock kit because I don't really need double pointed needles. But you can't buy this yarn without buying the sock kit. It's like an exclusive, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love it. So in the 25-gram ball, you get 114 yards. And what really sold me on this yarn is previously, if you've been here around, you know that my favorite fiber content recently of making socks was I think it was a 50% merino, 50% bamboo, or maybe it was 25% bamboo, 25% nylon, 50% merino. This is very similar fiber content. So this is 50% superwash merino, 25% rayon from bamboo, and 25% nylon. That makes me think I just said something incorrect. So the socks that I was talking about previously, it's 50% merino, 25% silk, 25% nylon. Ish. Don't quote me on that. This is bamboo, merino, and nylon. And it is gorgeous. This is the colorway Mary Mary. Oops, dropped it on the floor. Here's the double pointed needles. There are 5 of them. Here's a crochet hook. Ooh, 2.25 millimeters. That is skinny. And here's the yarn. I'm so happy with this. They have so many pretty colors of this yarn, and I just had to get the pink one. Does this not match my vibe? And there's some stitch markers as well. Some locking stitch markers, which you can never have too many of. So this is the colorway Mary Mary as well. And it's made to go with this. Isn't that beautiful? I just love it. It's gonna be a self-striping. It's gonna be a self-striping or self-patterning kind of yarn, and I'm just really excited to make this. I might even make these tall socks. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to make them tall socks, but we'll see. I do not tend to make anything on double pointed needles if I can help it. I like to knit in a circle. So I doubt I'll be using those DPNs, but that is the sock kit. I'll link to it below if you want to check out all the colors, but that is the next pair of socks I will be casting on. But wait, I have cast on a different pair of socks since the last time you saw me. And this was a frog. So a while ago, I made a video on like, am I gonna frog all of these whips that I have? And one of them did in fact get frogged, and now it is becoming something new. At the time, it was going to be a hat, a crochet hat design. It has been sitting, not being worked on for several years now. And I finally was just like, you know what? I need to make socks with this. It was a gift from a lovely viewer of this podcast named Robin, and she sent it to me because the colorway is called Little Nova. And so I had to frog it and make it into something beautiful. And last time you saw this, I had completed the cuff and a couple of stripes. And now I have actually completed the heel, and I'm still not all the way through the stripe sequence. My original plan was to split this blue stripe around the gold heel, but I was just knitting and knitting and knitting, and I didn't even notice that that was happening. So this has a little bit taller of a cuff than I would normally make. These are each 6 rows. So I'm at a 24 row cuff instead of 20. So really I'm at 25 because after the 2x2 rib, I always do 1 round of plain stockinette in that contrast color just to ease the transition. So I'm really at a 25 row shorty sock for the cuff, which is an awkward number, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna wear the heck out of these. So the next color is kind of like a darkish purple, and then I believe it's gonna go into gold, and then after gold, maybe it goes back into this cream color, I think. So yeah, I really, really am happy with that. The yarn is from Freckled Whimsy. It was a pre-order at one point, and it was a gift because my daughter's name is Nova. And it just was meant, it was supposed to be a hat, and then the hat turned out too big, and I didn't want to redo the math. And then I was like, maybe I can make leg warmers with it, but like, who is going to wear leg warmers in Florida? Not me. But I will wear these socks. I will wear them all the time because I sleep in my hand knit socks every single night. So yeah, that's happening slowly, slowly. That's the one that just kind of lives on the couch next to where I sit. That yarn used to be living in this bag, which was made by Kalisha of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. And I bought this bag from her because it's amazing. And now it has a new project in it because it has been liberated. The yarn has been liberated from that. What I am making in this bag is a Mosu bag. I'm not entirely sure I'm saying that correctly. I am making this out of Premier Yarns DK Colors Anti-Pilling Acrylic. It is 383 yards for 140 grams. That's what it looks like. And I have made a little bit of progress on this since the Joanne's video that I uploaded with some Big Twist alternatives and dupes. And I saw this morning that Hirschner's is like buying Big Twist or going to be stocking Big Twist, and they're at least going to be stocking some kind of the value line, but I don't know if they're going to be stocking all of the lines. I am happy about that because I don't want Big Twist to go away entirely, but it's still like, we've still lost the place where you can touch the yarn in person, and Hirschner's has some good sales. They have free shipping sometimes. They have a lot of stock. They also stock some Premier yarns, and you can get deals on that sometimes. But I have heard some mixed reviews as to like the speed of their shipping, the quality of their customer service, and ordering stuff and it being on back order for a long time and then them just not communicating about it. So I'm really happy that Big Twist is going to continue in some fashion. I don't know if we're going to keep getting, you know, the range that was there before of the different types of yarn, not necessarily the colors, just the types of yarn. It just seems like I'm happy, but it doesn't like fix the problem for me. The problem for me is where are we going to go to touch the yarn? That's one of them. So here we are. I am making a little bag. My plan is to add 2 more stripes. There's going to be a green stripe and then a dark blue stripe, and then have a blue strap and a pink strap. And it should use pretty much the entire ball of yarn. So it's a Japanese Mosu bag, which means one of the straps is going to be long and one of them is going to be short, and you kind of hook the long one through the short one and you can just hang it on your wrist. This is a free pattern. I will link to it below, and it's very simple. but the yarn is beautiful. So you essentially do a single crochet bottom, then you do, I believe this is called the moss stitch, where it's like single crochets and chains staggered to each other. And this is the bottom. It's just so cute. I haven't decided if I'm gonna line it yet or not. I might, but y'all know lining bags and me doesn't really get along. So this is the rest of the yarn. We have green to add, followed by the dark blue, and then I'm gonna make the straps out of these two, because I'm not entirely sure how much yarn the straps are gonna take. And I think if I add another 2 stripes, that's gonna be this much. That will be tall enough for a bag. I think that will be plenty tall enough. So yeah, I've pretty much added like this much, I think, since the last time I showed this. I really, really enjoy working on that. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook. It's my Clover Amour. I'm obsessed with them. They're really the only ones I ever wanna use. Although I do like tulips. I like tulips as well. Just the way that I hold my hook, I like choke it to death. So the ones with giant handles don't typically work very well for my hand, because if I had one, I'd show you. But like, I will show you on a Clover. Where did it go? It's not that big of a bag, and yet the hook is escaping me. So this has a thumb rest, right? So you put your thumb right here, and that's how you're supposed to hold it if you're holding it with a knife hold like I do. But I don't actually put my thumb here. I put my thumb like up here. And just on the very edge of the rubber part, which is not how you're supposed to hold it. Supposed to. You can do whatever you want, okay? It's your crochet. It's your knitting. Knit and crochet however you want. There's no such thing as correct or incorrect, right? Do whatever you want and whatever works for you. But that does mean that like the hooks that have the big like bulby thing that's supposed to fit like right here for your thumb, I never hold it in the right spot. So they're not super comfortable for me to use. And I have to have a light hook. Although maybe that'll change eventually. One of the reasons that I've always wanted a light hook is because of my elbow problems. And now I had elbow surgery to fix that. It's not completely better yet though, so too soon to tell. I still have 3 more projects. 4 more projects. Let's switch it up. Let's do cross stitch. I actually have one of the nights my elbow was really bothering me, and so I worked a little bit on my cross stitch, which is this right here. Live, laugh, loot the bodies. Hopefully that's not backwards. It might be totally backwards on your end because I'm recording on the front facing camera. It's from the Enchanted Needle on Etsy, and I got 2 cross stitch kits prior to having elbow surgery. I finished one. It was a little skull, like poison vial thing. And this one I have been working on. It's on my little stand. We have that was done before. And we have Odie. I have half a bee because I ran out of yarn. And then I got all of this, I think, out of 1 thread. I'm doing pretty well with not tangling my yarn, except for here we ran into a giant snafu and it's just hanging on the back because it's just a tangled mess. But all of this down here you can see is really nicely done. No tangles. And then of course on the D, I just got into like the worst tangles for no reason. And you can even see it almost on the front. Let's see if I can get this close enough. So you may or may not be able to tell, but this row of stitches is considerably more janky than like these, because this is where the snarl is. It's all snarled up. Speaking of snarl, snarl reminds me of Jarl. And a Jarl reminds me of Skyrim. And Skyrim reminds me that Oblivion was just re-released by Bethesda yesterday. Yesterday, you guys. They have remastered Oblivion. And not just remastered it, like made it look prettier, like rebuilt the game from the ground up. The ground up, you guys. So that people, this game came out 20 years ago, okay? People who have never played it can play it and experience it. And they left some of the janky old stuff to like make it seem, you know, more like true to the original game, but they've updated some of the dialogue, they've updated some of the voice acting, they've updated all the graphics, they've updated the leveling up. If you're a gamer, oh my gosh, my husband downloaded it immediately, obviously. Obviously. And he only played for like, I don't know, an hour last night because we are both so exhausted. And it's a good thing we went to bed at 9 because Nova was up crying at 2 a.m. So like the time in our lives where we can play video games is so limited. But when I tell you I am dreaming about playing this game, okay, tangent. Everyone join the tangent train. There's gonna be a lot of those. I have spent so many hours playing Skyrim, which is Elder Scrolls 5. Oblivion is Elder Scrolls 4, I think. I've spent so many hours playing that I'm going to show you what I have. Because some of you may not have seen it. Okay. All right. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. Maybe I need to stand on this. I'm going to stand on a chair. Okay. Prepare yourself. You're going to see my leg. This right here is the dragon from Skyrim. His name is Alduin. He is the bad guy dragon from the video game Skyrim. I literally have him tattooed on my leg. And if you look super close on his head, which I'm not going to get that close to the camera with my leg, but he has the rebel, the Jedi symbol from Star Wars. I put an Easter egg in my leg tattoo, y'all. Beneath him, right here, is a Dementor from Harry Potter. Right here is Darth Nihilus from Star Wars. He's not even in the movies, okay? This is a deep cut. And down at the very bottom, we have the Eye of Sauron. I can't hold my leg like that. So what you need to know about me is I'm a giant nerd in every manner. So yeah, anyways, I have the bad guy dragon from Skyrim tattooed on my body for posterity, okay? And so when they announced that they were releasing Oblivion, 50% of my body was like, oh, this is the greatest news of all time. And the other 50% was like, where is Elder Scrolls 6? Y'all have had 15 years to work on this. Give me the game, people. But also don't, because I don't have time to play it. Anyways, that was a tangent. Let's get back on track, shall we? That was cross stitch. So anyways, live, laugh, loot the bodies. Very much a gamer kind of reference for me and for my family. And I'm kind of obsessed with it. And I just love that I can sit down and do like one letter at a time, and it gives me a little bit of sense of completion. Because the full coverage kind of stuff, not for me. At least not right now. I've decided. The next projects that I have to show you, there is several projects crammed into this giant bag that Lynn from Daybreak Knots and Knits sent me. It's not quite as stuffed as it was last time, because last time it had a giant hippo in it, which is now, I think it's currently on the couch. That's where it was last abandoned. In here is some amigurumi projects. So I've just decided, for the time being, this is my amigurumi bag. And I'm making a dinosaur. This is a free Instagram pattern that I can link below. Some of y'all in the last video were like, don't frog him. He has a little broken leg, just like baby Noah had a broken foot. Technically, that's true. And so you should never frog things immediately. If you're like, I think I'm going to frog this, you should think on it, right? I don't frog things right away. However, I am going to frog and redo this because it does actually bother me that it is crooked. And it's not just, if it was just the leg, I could live with that. But the whole thing is crooked. Like his head, the neck should be here and it's over here. The butthole where his tail's gonna go is over here and it should be in the middle. Like the whole thing is helter-skelter. So I'm going to frog it. I am not sad. Don't be sad for me. Don't cry for this dinosaur. I will rebuild him, okay? He will live again, I promise. Did I even print that pattern? I don't know if I did. That yarn is Premier Basic Mosaic, which is like a marly 100% acrylic yarn. I'm holding it double, which means I'm working from the inside and the outside of the ball. And, oh, I did print it. Nope, that's something else entirely. If I have enough yarn left, maker plans, after I am done with that dinosaur, which I should have plenty of yarn. I'm going to make a shrimp. Why do you want to make a shrimp? I don't know, but it's happening. It's going to happen. Yes, I took screenshots off of Instagram for this dinosaur, but I didn't take a screenshot of the front of it. Anyways, I'll link it below. the other thing that is living in this package, this yarn bag are the little drops of wonderful that I was working on. So this one has had no further progress. I've made one leg that has not been sewed on. So I need to make 3 more of these legs and then embroider some eyes. You can see it's a sparkly, it's got sequins. I did get a little bit of work on the second one that I'm making in this purple sparkly acrylic yarn. I don't really know where I was last time, but I think just barely starting. And so now we're a little bit further. Let's hold them up together. I'm just about to start the body. There we go. So yeah, the Little Drop of Wonderful is a free pattern by Allie from Little Drops of Wonderful, who is just a delightful person. That is what it looks like. You can make it in any weight of yarn. I think it would be really, really fun to have in a plush yarn, but my plush yarn is currently buried and I can't get to it. Oh, good. This is my leftover from the hippo that I made, who is currently still named Eleanor, in case you're following that saga. Nova still doesn't care about the hippo, and her brother can still have it. But who knows, that could change next week. I need this string because one of the ears that I so carefully crocheted on has been half ripped off already by one of my kids. Children. So yeah, there's like 2, 3, there's 3 projects living in here. And a future project, there will be a shrimp. At some point, there will be a shrimp. Next, I have 2 more. One is knitting, one is Tunisian crochet. It's just all kinds of stuff going on right now. This one has only had a tiny bit of work. And it was last night. It's the first time I've picked it up in a very long time. I think that you have not seen this project since maybe January, maybe even December. And it is the V-neck boxy by Joji Locatelli. Oh man, does that look good on camera. So my little stitch marker that marked where I was last time. The last time you saw this, I was up here. So I've done this much. That's not very much. That's maybe 5 or 6 rows. Maybe. But I do want to start working on this again because I am at the part where I can just go around and around and around and around and around and just miles of endless stockinette. And oh my gosh, you guys, this is the best. This is the best colorway in the world, possibly. This is fiber optic yarn. It is their cashmere base, which is 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. And the colorway is Peacocks. Let's see if I can. Fiber optics, the little thing is, you know, it's like sideways. I am alternating skeins using helical knitting because there was some funky pulling that happened when I did not alternate skeins, and I hate pulling. Hate it. So right now it's looking completely magical. There is a lot of knitting to go on this, but since I have finished the Boxy Raglan, I think that's what it's called, yet another Joji Locatelli pattern. Since I finished that one, minus buttons, that is going to be my primary knitting project, I think. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on the artist cardigan, and once the artist cardigan is finished, then I have some plans to start making some kind of mosaic projects. So I have a bunch of wool-like, loops and threads wool-like yarn that I want to turn into a mosaic crochet project. And then I have a Halloween advent kit in DK weight yarn that I think I'm going to knit into the shift cowl or something similar by Andrea Mowry, which is again mosaic knitting, not true color work, as someone so kindly informed me. So I just need to work on a few things and get a couple of things finished, and I need to like get organized and clean because the sheer volume of nonsense that has been just like, I've just been stuffing things in my whip box and stuffing things in the closet where my yarn goes because I have not been able to lift anything because of my elbow. So it's been like 4 months, 5 months at this point. And yeah, it's just been ridiculous. So I need to clear a few things so that I can mentally be in a place to tackle something new. But 2 sleeves on an artist cardigan, I don't feel like that's totally doable, right? I think it's doable. Oh, okay. One last project. This project is the, what's it called? I'd tell you if I could remember, but my brain isn't working. The landscape shawl. This is a pattern by Martin Up North. This is a paid for pattern. I have links to it in my Ravelry down below. I am doing an unofficial make along with my friend Emmy, and I have wound up 11 colors of yarn. This pattern calls for DK weight yarn. I don't have enough DK weight in various colors to do this with, so I am holding fingering weight double to make a DK. It is making the best fabric, the best. The pattern actually calls for 13 colors of yarn, but I'm gonna wait until the entire shawl is finished. The last 2 colors are for the border, and then I will see what matches and what I need to do. So I am currently attached because I'm in the middle of a row. And one of the reasons I'm really excited about this is because I can do 1 square at a time and put it down. That inevitably means this is going to take 17 years to complete this shawl. I am not fast at this. This is entrelac Tunisian crochet, and I'm just very slow at doing it. But I was about here last time. I think I had done 4 rows. So I have added this entire row, this red one, and half a green one. I also made a mistake that I wanted to show you. Right here, where the stitch marker is, I decreased by accident. And when I got to this square that was on top of it, I was so confused because I wasn't getting the right number of stitches. And it just finally occurred to me to look down. I was like, oh yeah, because I don't have the right number of stitches in the row before. So I just fudged it and added a stitch. I'm a big fan of fudging it. Can you tell? Absolutely not. You can't. You can't tell that there's 1 stitch missing and that square is 1 stitch smaller. But I really enjoy it. Right now it's looking very Christmassy because of this green that's going on. There's going to be a fair amount of green coming up. I thought that it was going to change yarn every row, but there are 1, 2, 3 rows of this green before we change colors. And then there is 1, 2, 3 rows of the next, 3 rows of the next, and then it starts switching faster than that. So I'm going to be working with the same colors for a little while. There's going to be 3, I don't know how much will get done by the next time you see this. It's a good question. I still don't understand how this pattern works. It just like hurts my brain. I understand that it works, but I don't really understand how or why the math works the way it does. And I'm certainly not about to try to understand because my brain's not working. It's not working for all kinds of reasons. One of which is I have not been sleeping. And there's a lot of reasons for that too. So, my husband was gone a couple of weeks ago for a conference. While that happened, Nova had a stomach bug. I think that was the last time I recorded. Then she had a surgery Friday last week, which that's all I'm going to say about that. She had a surgery. She's doing great. If you want to know more about that, you can join the members area of YouTube or Patreon. That's where I post all the really personal stuff to the kids. I'll talk about my own personal life all day long, but for them, I just need to keep a few things private. So she had a surgery Friday, so I was up Friday night getting, taking care of her, giving her medication in the middle of the night. We kind of slow day all day Saturday. I got a cold. Josiah came home from his work conference with a cold, which he promptly gifted to me the day before Easter, which I'm a pastor, so Easter in our church is not as big of a deal as it is for like some mega fanciness churches, it's just like a regular Sunday for us, but like with a little celebration added. It's not an insane thing. But we were having Easter outside in the park, so I have a cold. Saturday night, Josiah got up and gave her medication in the middle of the night, and I slept. But Sunday morning, Easter morning, we were having Easter in the park, which required actually less setup than we normally do, but I did have to go and like get a few things and take it to the park and make all these stops. And I just was not feeling good. And like, I want to say I had to call someone who was coming and be like, can you please bring me a ginger ale because I'm nauseous, I'm dizzy, I feel like I'm going to throw up. Like I just do not feel good at all. Walking to the bathroom, which was a couple blocks away from the park, Like my heart was beating so fast. I was like winded beyond all recognition. And so I think that I played it off pretty well. And it's not like I don't want, I want to be honest, right? Like we have this honesty policy and I will always tell people what's happening. But I also I needed to do my job, right? So I like chugged a ginger ale. I got through the message. I got through the teardown. I came home and I slept for 2 hours. Like I came home, I came in the door and I was like, I think I need to lie down, which is, I always love a nap, you know, but I just felt awful. And when I woke up from my nap, I was like, I should take my temperature. I had 101 fever, which I assume I had a fever all morning. It just didn't occur to me that that's what was happening. I was just like, oh, you know, just don't feel good. My stomach's not very happy. So, I mean, we were outside. I didn't hug that many people, so hopefully I didn't share any germs, but I don't remember the last time I had a fever that high. It's been a long time. So I just was like really sick on Easter Sunday. For the rest of the day, I just felt horrible. All day Monday, I felt horrible. And then Monday night, I finally felt better. Meanwhile, Nova is still at home recovering from surgery. There is no school, yes, on Monday. So she was at home. Noah, which it would have been fine if we were both not feeling well, right? Because I put her on the couch, I turned on Scooby-Doo, and we just watched Scooby-Doo all day long because I was trying to keep her from jumping around and moving, which she wants to do, but which hurts her head, hurts the situation with surgery. She needed to rest. Noah does not approve of resting. He is an outdoor cat. So that made Monday pretty difficult. Tuesday, she was feeling a lot better. So she went to school for half a day and I was feeling a little bit better, but not 100%. So I took her to school. I hung out with Noah. I did some work. That was yesterday. And this morning, so she got up in the middle of the night last night. She said her stomach hurt. It's probably a combination of all this medicine. Still, she's recovering. She's really tired, right? So I was up with her in the middle of the night for a little while, at least an hour. And then I just could not go back to sleep. And normally when she comes out of her room, I hear her door open because she's right down the hall. Or I hear our door open. Like I did not hear anything. Nothing. I heard nothing until she was 1 inch from my face. It is not pleasant to wake up to somebody this close to your face with their morning breath at 2 a.m. going, Mom, my stomach hurts. The last time she woke me up like that, she proceeded to barf all over the floor. Thankfully, there was no throw up. So I was up with her and I just couldn't go back to sleep and I just didn't feel good. This morning, I really didn't feel good again. And it's not like I have a fever. I finally figured out what was happening. Around the time I dropped her off at school this morning, and both of my kids had a rough morning. She was crying, Noah was crying, there was just tears all around, and I just did not have the emotional capacity to handle it very well. But finally, when I dropped her off and I shut the car door, my ears started hurting, and I was like, oh, I have a migraine. So, if you've been around, you know the story, but if you're new, let's go on another tangent train, shall we? Years ago, my husband and I have been married almost 14 years. Right when we got married, I was having some weird health issues. One of which was that I was really dizzy and queasy on and off all the time. Like my stomach hurt constantly, and it wasn't from stuff I was eating. Well, part of it was. I found out I was allergic to egg whites and dairy. So that improved a little bit. But I was just so queasy all the time. And I would just get this pressure in my ear. And like they're like, no, you don't have an ear infection. I don't know. But there would be times where I could not walk in a straight line. Like I would have to pull over while driving to work sometimes and just sit and wait for it to pass because the room would be spinning. Like just horrible vertigo almost. And they thought I had all kinds of weird stuff going on. Like at one point they did an MRI of my head. They thought I had brain cancer. One doctor thought I had something called Meniere's disease, which is like some super rare, weird disease. and they put me on these like insane diuretics to like control it, but it turned out not to be that. And at one point I was like, I literally don't know what to do. Like no one can figure out what's wrong with me. And someone had recommended a doctor at Tampa General Hospital. I don't know if they're still there, no idea. And that poor receptionist, because I called and I was like in tears on the phone. She squeezed me in that day. To this day, I don't know how or why. It was like divine intervention. So I go in, Josiah had to drive me because I was literally sitting in the waiting room just like sweat, like I couldn't keep still because I was so dizzy. We finally see the doctor and he was like, oh, no, you don't have any of that. You're having migraines. And I was like, what do you mean I'm having migraines? I don't have any headaches. And he was like, no, you're having migraines. Like 100% you are having migraines. And the way that it's manifesting is the pressure is in your ear. It's in your ear canal, all of these blood vessels around the side of my right ear specifically. And that is affecting your equilibrium. And that's why you are so dizzy. It's why you're so queasy, because you're so dizzy, and you're so dizzy because all of these blood vessels are just, the pressure's too much for them. And I was like, this is the most insane thing I've ever heard. Right? Like when people say they have a migraine, they have a headache, right? Or they get like the light thing and like, so he was like, listen, what we're going to try to do, I'm going to give you some heavy duty migraine medicine. We're going to try to get this under control. So he gave me the migraine medicine and he was like, but you need to like look into some stuff as well. And you're probably going to need to change some things about your life and just, come back and see me. So he gave me some medicine. I was on that for probably 6 months. And I don't know what exactly happened while I was on that medicine, but it kind of switched it to now when I get a migraine, it is still very much the pressure in my ear, but I'm not as dizzy as I used to be. I get a pretty bad headache now. And while I did not want to be on that medication indefinitely because the side effects were rough. And I found this book, and I'm just going to say as a disclaimer, this is not unsolicited advice, okay? If you have migraines and you don't want to hear about how I helped my migraines, you don't need to listen to this, okay? Just click off, click forward. I'm not trying to tell anyone what to do with their life. I'm just telling you what helped me. I found this book called Heal Your Headache, which I will link below. It's an older book, and I honestly don't remember much at this point because it's been almost 15 years ago of what it said, except for one chapter in particular that talked about the migraine threshold and how you can keep away from it, like things that you can do in your life. So let's just say on any given day, this is your migraine threshold. This is the threshold always. It might be lower for you, like maybe you're more prone to getting them. Some people have a higher threshold, but whatever your threshold is, it's like here, right? On any given day, you could be anywhere, right? Like I could be down at the bottom. I could be so far away from the migraine threshold because I slept great. The weather is great. I'm just having the most wonderful time. I'm not sick. And so anything I add is not going to push me to hit the threshold. But there could be another day where I didn't sleep great. So I'm getting a little closer. There's a big rainstorm coming in. So the air pressure is changing, the barometric pressure. So I'm getting a little closer. What else? I'm on my period. The hormonal changes, guaranteed once a month I'm going to get one for sure. Like, so you're getting closer, right? And then you eat something that is a migraine trigger, it's going to push you over the edge. So if I'm down here on a given day and I eat a hot dog, makes no difference. If I'm here and I eat a hot dog, makes a big difference. And I was like, wow, that is wild. Like, okay, so how do you, like pretty much the only thing you can control is your diet. And I did not want that. I did not want that information, right? But I was like, these things were like debilitating. Like I literally couldn't walk in a straight line. Like I was having trouble getting to work. And I was so sick all the time. And so I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. But one of the hardest things for me was actually, I couldn't take any Excedrin for like 6 months when I started that. Because Excedrin has caffeine in it, and Excedrin creates this rebound effect where it either expands or shrinks the blood vessels in your brain, and then when it wears off, they go back to like even worse than they were before. So you end up needing more and more frequently. And so you really shouldn't take Excedrin. For me, I'm saying for me, I really shouldn't take it more than one time a month. I actually took one this morning because I was so dizzy, which has been a while since that's happened, but I can just see that for the last several months, I have not been sleeping well. We've had a lot of illnesses. I just ended my period. Like, there's just so many reasons why I have this migraine. But I only took one, and I haven't taken one in months. And it's not helping that much, but at least I'm not dizzy. What was I saying? The brain fog with the migraine is real. So one of the things that you have to do, other than not take Excedrin or any other kind of drug that makes your brain rebound, right, is you have to not eat anything that can be considered a migraine trigger. And I want to say I was really strict on that for maybe 6, maybe 9 months. It took a long time. And that's one of the most annoying things to me when going through that whole process was it took so long to figure out what the triggers were, to get my body to a state of equilibrium. It wasn't like, oh, I can just go on an elimination diet for like 2 weeks and then I'll feel better. No, it was months of doing this stuff. But I have figured out what some of my main triggers are. So caffeine is a huge migraine trigger for me. There is a reason why I try not to have caffeine more than one time a week, because the more I get, the more migraines I will have, guaranteed. My period, huge migraine trigger. So I have to be really careful because that is the time of month that I want the most caffeine. I have to be really careful with caffeine around my period because it will give me a migraine. With the hormonal changes and things like that. Lack of sleep, big migraine trigger for me. And some of these things I can't control, right? I have kids who are up in the middle of the night. I get a period every single month. Like, I can't get rid of that. So the other things that I have to manage are what I'm ingesting. And I think that I actually need to be more strict about it. I was doing really super well for a long time, probably a decade, because I just was really careful about caffeine. But that's not the only one, right? There's some really weird ones, like alcohol is a migraine trigger, hot dogs, any kind of processed meat. And that's why I mentioned hot dogs as an example. I can eat a hot dog sometimes and it won't bother me at all. And sometimes I eat a hot dog and have a migraine the next day. I think the thing that tipped me off the edge for this particular migraine yesterday is I was out with Noah. I had been up in the middle of the night. I had been sick, so I was already pretty close to the edge, right? I was out with him. He was fussing. I didn't have any food to eat. I packed him snacks, but I didn't pack anything for myself because we were running late and I was just starving. And so I went through McDonald's, and I love McDonald's. I know it's garbage, but I love it, okay? I love eating garbage food. But I was hungry, and we all know we don't make good choices when we're hungry, okay? I should have gone like across the street to like Culver's and spent a little bit more money and gotten something I knew would not hurt my head or the rest of my body. But I just ate McDonald's and I felt much better emotionally for the rest of the day. But now I have a migraine and I'm almost positive it's because of all the stuff they put in their food. Like I've reached the age where I can't just eat whatever I want. Boo! I hate that so much. It is incredibly rude fact of life. Like, I ate some garbage with Nova like a month ago. We were out, and she was like, oh, I want to try this place. And we did it, and then we had the best time, and I immediately had a headache. And I was like, that is such crap. That's not the word I wanted to use. It's such crap that now I have reached the age, I'm 36 today, that I can't eat anything that's garbage without repercussions. And I try not to say that food is garbage in front of her. Like, I'm pretty careful about what I say about food in front of my kids, because I don't want them to have like a weird view of food. Like, I don't necessarily restrict them from things. I don't call things junk, garbage. But we do talk about like foods that give you energy, foods that give you sustained energy. And like, no, we have had a lot of conversation with Nova because she will eat her weight in candy, right? Of like, this will give you a stomach ache. Like, there will be repercussions if you eat this much food. And so of course we have limits. I don't let her eat whatever she wants, but like, just in general, I try to have a more positive outlook on food while still keeping what's the way to say this? Keeping in mind that the food companies do not have our best interest in mind and they're full of chemicals and all kinds of things that taste delicious, but aren't so good for us. And so, yeah, I've reached the point in my life where I can no longer just eat nonsense with Nova without getting a headache. Anyways, I'm pretty sure I gave myself a migraine or tipped myself over the edge by eating McDonald's yesterday because I was hungry and I wasn't prepared. Some of the weird things that can trigger migraines that are foods that I remember from this book are onions, lentils, and I love lentils, especially red lentils. They will give me a migraine if I eat too many of them. Isn't that wild? Like some of the stuff on alcohol is like alcohol will give you a migraine, but the scale, like a dark alcohol will give you, is more likely to trigger it than like a clear liquor, like a vodka. So weird. Like, I don't know, this information in this book, again, I'm really only remembering the threshold conversation and the conversation around the food aspect, because the food is really the only thing I can control. Like I can't control that I was on my period. I can't control the weather. I can't control any of that, but I can control what I eat. And yeah, so my head is killing me. I have this pain right here behind my eyeball and into my ear. This is where it always is, right here. And the pressure in my ear is always so intense when I have a migraine. And it will give me brain fog. Sometimes I'll be queasy. I'm thankfully not queasy right now. Sometimes I'll be dizzy. Sometimes light doesn't generally bother me, but sounds, and you'll know I have 2 little kids. Sounds, I have a pair of earplugs just in case. Sometimes smells will bother me, but mostly it's just like dizziness, brain fog, really intense headache, and like a total inability to like focus on anything. And if you have a migraine, you know what I'm saying, like, and I feel your pain, because this is maybe part of the reason I have so many projects, right? And this is always how I have been, because if I can't focus, if I can't think, then how am I going to concentrate on a pattern? I need just easy stuff to do. And it goes beyond just being able to like, oh, I have the brain power today to tackle entrelac. Like, no, I actually only can focus enough to knit in a circle, because my brain, the pressure, it's like the pressure in your brain just like is the only thing your brain can focus on. And it's the only thing. So yeah, that was a really long, gosh, I've been talking forever. I could talk to you guys forever because you're my friends. And if you're new here, we're friends now. We're friends. And again, I'm not trying to give anyone advice. I will link the book below. It's an older book. If you want to read it, all I can say is it changed my life in that I was able to not continue on that medication that had some really intense side effects that were really hard on my body. I do think that I need to be more strict. And I need to dig that book out of my shelf and go back to the food section and start making sure that I eliminate some things for a little while again, because the stress of having 2 little kids and the stress of having elbow surgery, constant sickness for the past 4 or 5 months, multiple ER visits, broken bone for Noah, surgery for Nova. It's just been a lot. And this is happening frequently, like more than 1 time a month. And I am not okay with that. But at the same time, it's like, how do you prep food? Like, I already have such a difficult time feeding this entire family with all of its dietary needs, that it's like, this is how I end up out in the world with Noah, who has tons of snacks packed for his food allergy self and nothing for me. And I won't to McDonald's. And I know someone is yelling at the screen like, you have to put on your own life preserver before you save other people. I know, but like, that's not how it works. That's literally not how it works when you have kids. Like when the baby is crying, you pick the baby up, right? And I can't eat something that he can't have in front of him. And I can't eat some of the stuff he can eat. So it's like this never ending cycle of like, I'm constantly feeding everyone else and I'm not feeding myself appropriately. And I don't have time to cook additional things for me while I'm also cooking things for everyone else. And someone, usually people without kids are like, what What if you meal prepped on the weekend? I should mention my kids live here then too. So that doesn't really work. Like literally last night I made, what did I make? I made some bacon, which we haven't had in a very long time, but baby Noah passed his pork allergy test. So he's allowed to eat pork now. So I made a pack of bacon. It was kind of like a celebration. He ate like 2 whole pieces by himself, which is a lot for an 18-month-old, but you know what? We were having a party, okay? So I made that. I had some leftover carrots that I made from the night before. We had some leftover mashed potatoes. I made 5 corns on the cob. Corn on the cobs? 5 corn? What is the, how do you say corn on the cobs? What is the correct grammatical? Does anyone know? Comment below. And there was something else. And they ate it all. So I thought I made a lot of food. There was no leftovers at all. So what did I eat for breakfast? I ate one of Noah's gluten-free, allergy-friendly waffles. It was fine. But like, that's carbs, and I really should be starting my day with protein, but did we have any protein cooked? No. The only protein that's in the fridge is these little turkey meat stick things and some deli meat, which is fine. I could eat that, but guess what's a migraine trigger? Processed meat. So anyways, what I'm saying is nonsense and tomfoolery is my life. And the last time I was at the doctor, he was like, okay, like, how's your diet? And I was like, bad. It's bad. And he was like, okay, so I'll put needs improvement. I was like, no, you can put bad. Like, you can put that I'm eating scraps of my children's food, and I understand that this is not sustainable long term, but we're literally just trying to survive at the moment, and this is how it's going to work. I don't know about, like, that's just, it's just how it is, okay? Switching gears, because we've been talking way too long. I want to spend all day with you, I really do, but I've got to make pralines. And the baby, what time is it? It's already 1:13. He's probably going to be awake soon. I wanted to show you 2 things that came in the mail. One of them I purchased and ordered. This is the very last Moret magazine for the foreseeable future. Moret is a crochet magazine with the equivalent of pom-pom in its fanciness and beautiful photography. This one is the very last one. I own every single copy of Moret. The person who is the publisher for this, her name is Allison. She's from the Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast, and I actually got to meet her in person in 2018. I would say she's an internet friend, and it was just delightful to meet her. And so I've purchased every single one of these, and I purchased this specifically because I wanted to complete the collection. I bought all of mine except maybe one because I missed out on the pre-order in time from my dear friend Claudia, who is Crochet Luna. She would stock these in her Etsy shop. This particular issue is focused on menswear. I will say that I don't know that I will make much from this because it's just not my style. Like this one I think I would love to make. It's called Wellerman, but it's probably too hot. There's socks in here. There's a lot of like crochet vibes coming back, right? Like, look at that. That's pretty cool. But Josiah's not gonna wear that. This I do want to make. It's called Old Salt, and it's a fun little textured hat. I do want to make that. So I'm really happy to have this to complete my collection. Oh, and this one. This is the other one because it's crocheted, but it's steeped in crocheted. It is the cardigan that's called Sea Spray. I would absolutely wear that. That is the thing that I want to make most out of this. It is a crochet colorwork grandpa cardigan, essentially. It's fabulous. I love it. So yeah, I'm very happy to have that to complete the collection. I'm very sad that Moret is going away, but I understand that it's a phenomenal amount of work and a phenomenal amount of expense. I'm just happy to have that before it's gone. And the other thing is something that came in the mail from my lovely friend Kalisha of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. When I said I had my goodbye to Joanne's video, I said the only yarn that I was sad about was the Big Twist Rave. Big Twist Rave in the color Super Beach. That's the color. She sent me 4 of these because I made a Just Feel Better shawl, which is her pattern. It's a free pattern. And I made a Just Feel Better shawl and I sent it along. And I was sad because I didn't have any more of this yarn and it wasn't ever going to be made again. Who knows if Hirschner's will revive this or not, or if it's just the basic. But, oh my gosh. Oh, this is a different colorway, isn't it? Yeah, this one's Electric Citrus. Ooh. So there are 3 of Super Beach and 1 Electric Citrus. So I'm thinking, what could I make? Like, I could totally make a poncho. Would I wear a poncho? I don't know. When we talk about things that make me happy, neon pink and neon orange and neon yellow, top of the list. As you can see, I love things that are bright in color. And now that I have been rambling for an indefinite amount of time, hopefully an amount of time that's not insurmountable to the YouTube world and not insurmountable for my phone to process this video so that I can then put it in my computer and edit it and upload it. I think I should say goodbye because the baby will be up soon and I still got to make pralines and I've got to clean up this disaster. Comment below if you know who I'm talking about. If you watch Bake Off / The Great British Baking Show and you know which lady I'm talking about who's like, disaster, comment the word disaster and I'll know. So until I see you again, happy crafting and I will see you soon. Bye friends.